We've cut. Oh, never mind. We'll talk after.
Okay.
All right. Hello, Wizard.
Yeah, and I got to double check, make sure everything's on. I'm new at this, so.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about some technological options on scaling, large scale, a way to scale up for what we were talking about. You were mentioning before, but I have some ready-mades, ready to go. I guess you could say solutions that we could start to work on if you want.
Okay. Yeah,
but we'll talk about that offline.
Right. Okay. And it looks like we're live on Facebook and YouTube both. That's what I'm looking for. So we can shut that one down. And we're going to bring this one up. And I'd like to start out telling everybody, I hope everybody's enjoying life, living life, loving life. Thanks for joining. Please be free to share and hit that like, subscribe button. And we're going to get into this. Mitch, if you'd like to come up, I will drop the panel. I'd love to have you up discussing this stuff as well if you'd like. So let me get over. I got to get to my YouTube channel so I can drop that.
Great. You got you said you have Mitch on tap here, right?
Yep.
Excellent. I'd like to hear from him. I know he's been making a lot of progress lately, and I like to hear those stories the most.
Okay, and there's the link. And so let me go back to the StreamYard. All right, there's the link, Mitchell, if you want to come up. I'll be keeping an eye on it. And we're going to get into it here, guys, because it is late and I'm not a numbers guy. This is going to be posted on YouTube and Facebook both so people can review it. And so the numbers aren't important right now. They will come as they get viewed. Also, this is fair use copyright for everything for educational purposes, entertainment, whatever you might want to use it for. It is at no charge. Okay, and see if I get screen share right here. Okay, so I need someone to tell me if that's coming up as screen share. Yes. Awesome. I got it. Okay, so we're going to start out in regards to correcting the record and all the problems that we're having. Filing suit in court, you're really not supposed to be doing that. You're not qualified to be part of that membership. That membership is a membership known as warrant officers under the military code. Appointment, promotion, and involuntary separation and retirement for members on the warrant officer active duty list. Okay, this active duty list, it's not necessarily going to include you, yourself, your name, but through presumptions of legal fiction and incorporation, you are considered an investor in that system, and that's the problem. They are known as contract warrants. Warrants are specifically known as checks as well, guys. And when we're, we'll check here. And so when we're dealing with involuntary separation, it's going to imply that there's a voluntary separation as well because there's a separation. So it can't possibly be that everybody is included in this membership. There is some kind of separation, voluntary or involuntary. Contract warrants, they come from Her Majesty's Union Customs Codes. This is a different UCC, okay? And it's about taxation for her queen and the Queen's Royal Warrant Holders Association, which is under the UPU and authorization for each member country. Universal Postal Union is the international labor union for contract warrants of Royal Warrant Holders Association, and the members of the UPU, the Universal Postal Union, are the 193 members of the UN. Okay. And what they did was they adopted the Constitution of the Universal Postal Union so they could underwrite that for their own national constitutions and foundation documents. Not every country has a constitution. UK, for instance, doesn't have a written constitution. And it is for the purposes of national archives. It's a warehouse. Library of Congress, National Archives is a warehouse for publications, which is proprietary information of what? Library of Congress, the United States. They're data elements, statistics. Statist, I see. 17 U.S. Code 802, copyright royalty judgeships. This is a judgeship through the Library of Congress, three judges that qualify the documentation that goes into the Library of Congress and the archives. The international contract is the Constitution of the Universal Postal Union. And there's a quote that says, all treaties made or shall be made will be the supreme law of the land. Adopt it to constitute the supreme law of his land. Supremacy Clause. Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution, speaking of the Supremacy Clause, is the supreme law of the land. And the land shall not be sold forever, for it is mine, and ye are strangers and sojourners with me, according to Leviticus 25, verse 23. Verse 24 says, in all the lands of your possession ye should grant a redemption to the land. Verse 25 says, if your brother be waxen wane, ye should grant a redemption to thy brother. And that is supported with Psalms 121, verse 8. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and forevermore. Defeating the passport. You don't need permission to leave or come back. Okay. And from this time forth and forevermore starts Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Before thou wast cast from the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations, saying that no nation can sanction the word that is ordained by God that you are to prophet. Genesis 2:7, wherein God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, and man became a living soul so he can prophet that message. Romans 13:1-8 explains how there is no power but that which is ordained by God, and it should be righteously held, and they should have the fear of God if they judge not, lest they judge not, lest they be judged the same. So it's saying that they're supposed to be judging equitably. Matthew 18:15-20, talking about the private process of communications in rights and wrongs. Titus 3:8, telling us that those who hold the faith of the word of God and profit it unto men, this is what's profitable unto men, the good works. The good works. Strangers and sojourners with him. How dare anyone placate they do not fear God? Under 45 CFR 2508.1, it says corporation. Corporation means the Corporation for National and Community Service.
Wizard.
Yeah.
I want to interject before you get too far here for the people that are listening. I'm not sure if I can see all the chat or not, but I know a lot of people question a lot of what you're talking about with the International Postal Union and the way they have jurisdiction and such. What a lot of people don't realize is that there's a big change. I think it was 2012, which basically dissolved all forms of the United States Postal Service as we had seen it from its conception to its transition into what we call the U.S. It was first the Office of the Department of the Post Office, then it was the U.S. Postal Service. Now it's a quasi. It's not governmental. It's not corporate. It's not municipal.
It's corporate.
It's not, though. Actually, it's not incorporated anymore.
It's an international labor union.
No. I mean, our postal service, right? The International Labor Union is. So what
Right.
I'm getting at
And so
is
what
that
they've done is they've diminished the postal service here in the United States.
right,
We have a declassification of postmasters on a general basis, and now we have postal managers, regional postal managers, area postal managers, things like that.
right. They're like posts from a military post, correct?
Right.
And,
Right.
and what I'm getting at is that what they have done is that they literally have dissolved our United States postal institution before our eyes. And now it's just actually subject of the International Postal Union. I don't think
Right.
people realize this because I've been looking for these records. It's the absence of the records that prove what you're talking about. Because everything about our country, like you said, is based on those records, the written records. We have a written constitution. Our country is based in due process, and public records have a certain value. They're the public's property, the people's property, not the government's. So whenever there's a missing document, a missing element of a corporation existing, in effect, it doesn't exist.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
so what you're so we're able to deduce what's going on because of what you're talking about. And I think a lot of people, this is what goes over a lot of people's head, is that you can't point to something that points and says, oh, the International Postal Union has assigned these people to do this and that. We have to look at what's actually happening and deduce this is actually what's going on now. You know, from what we know of the United States Postal Union, the International Postal Union, that if it's functioning as you say, then indeed we would see the results in our postal service, in the property records across the board, which is indeed fact too. So we're able to deduce what you're saying is true, but you have to have that thought approach to understand it. This is not a simple laid out thing that's going to be visible at first glance. So I just wanted the audience just to get a grasp of that and to please just stay along with this. And if there's any clarification needed, stop. I have a lot of documents ready and I'm happy to clarify on this, Wizard, because this is important information that people need to know because the records is where our power lies. And at that, I yield.
Yep. And so when we see corporation means the Corporation for National Community Service, and the source is 45 CFR, that's public health and welfare. Under public health and welfare, you're signing up as a corporation when you sign up for Social Security. Okay. What they're doing is they're taking that beneficiary number, the Social Security number, and they're converting it to an obligor as if though you're investing. Again, like I said, you're an investor. They're considering you an investor. An individual, again, from public health and welfare. Individual means any citizen of the United States or an alien lawfully admitted for permanent residence. So you have citizen and residence. United States. United States means a federal corporation, an agency, department, commission, board, or other entity of the United States or an instrumentality of the United States, and that's under 28. Judicial. Federal government means all entities of the government of the United States. So the United States is a corporation, and the federal government is all entities of the government of the United States, not America. You have no government. It is a corporation. Military operation. 5 CFR 575.102. That's public employees. 5 U.S. Code 2105, employee. For the purpose of this title, employee, except as otherwise provided by this section or when specifically modified, means an officer and an individual who is, and then read on. And you can go to the link. We already read individual, didn't we? Individual right here means any citizen or resident of the United States. And if you're not a citizen or resident, then employee doesn't count either. And it means an officer and an individual. The individual is a citizen or resident. And so therefore, if you're an employee of McDonald's, you're considered an employee as an individual. And they maintain records on individuals. 40 CFR. I'm trying to remember what that is. Let me look here real quick.
Can I ask you a dumb question, Wizard?
Sure.
Are judges aware of this knowledge?
Not all of them.
They're mostly ignorant to it, so they just implement whatever they're taught.
Yeah.
They're not like I mean like you know what I'm saying.
Hey, it's a good
Yeah,
question.
they don't know it all. And the problem is they've been taught an administrative process, and that's what they're using.
Yeah, it's
So
like
it's
do
people
they
like
know?
us that have to bring this up because they don't dig into this stuff to show you how it lines up like I'm showing you here. Because this here, 40 CFR is environmental protection. And that's important because that address, that Universal Postal Union using that postal address, that's a conservation easement giving you the right of way of coming and going, control and entry, and possession and use.
Yeah, and Austin, you got to remember this: the judges are never going to make any of these arguments for you. You have
Nope.
to know these inside out. You're going to write them. You're going to give them to the judge in writing. All they're going to do is test you to see if you're the one that wrote them and you understand the writings. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
they know this. They're just trying to hide it, and they're going to see, did someone just hand this stuff to you and you're just trying to push it through, or do you really know what you're handing them? And that's
Yeah.
all it comes down to. So this is where Wizard is doing a great service by digging deep. Because if you could express it like he's doing, but use it only to support your writings, then you are telling them what to do. They're only going to comply. Otherwise, it's going to be a difficult argument for them to get out of.
I'm just trying to get I'm trying to get a better understanding of like the percent of corruption that there is, like the amount of judges that are aware of it and not aware of it.
Listen. It's not fraud and corruption. If there's any corruption, it's the record that's corrupted, and you did it. Okay, you did it, and it's only because you didn't comprehend what you were doing. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. You've already done it. You're forgiven. Just have to correct the record. Okay. Variances, and the correction is because there are variances from categorical pretreatment standards for fundamentally different factors. This is 5 USC 301 in minimum birth registration requirements, where you have a enumeration at birth, where they're clarifying you as a resident and a citizen of the United States, which you are not. You cannot be. So they put you in what's called residency, where you can become a resident if you hold proper residence. And it's all inherently wrong. If you don't understand first person, second person, third person, you're doing everything wrong. And that's why that record is corrupt. You're doing it. You don't understand that first person, second person, third person. 50 U.S. Code 4303 are acts prohibited. And this is in regards to the licensing and everything. And I'm going to show you. To trade under 50 USC 4302. When you look that up, you'll see what to trade means. Other than citizens of the United States, wherever resident or wherever doing business, see section C26 USC 7701 A26, trade or business. Trade or business is specifically defined as performing the functions of public office. So if you think you're buying and selling and you're not an employee performing the functions of public office, that's a legal presumption, and you're carrying the legal name that says so. 50 U.S. Code 4304, licensing to an enemy or ally of enemy insurance or reinsurance companies. That's why you have to have the insurance, because they don't know if you're trading with if they're trading with an enemy or not. Okay. Change of name, doing business in United States. Read this stuff and learn how Chapter 11 USC, Chapter 15, ancillary cross-border case, 9 USC, arbitration as to cooperation. You're in a bankruptcy situation, folks. They are literally bankrupt, spiritually bankrupt. Their merit system, which is the military system, is based on merits. And merit means spiritual credit. 50 USC 4305, suspension of provisions relating to ally of an enemy, regulations of transactions and foreign exchange. Why is it foreign exchange? Because you're living in a foreign trade zone as a resident, and that makes it domestic. You're operating in a domestic capacity by showing them the ID, when in fact you're foreign, and there's an actual armistice already in place and only needs to be cognized and noticed. Of gold or silver, property transfers, vested interests, enforcement, and penalties. B2 says any payment, conveyance, transfer, assignment, or delivery of property or interest therein made to or for the account of the United States, or is otherwise directed pursuant to this subdivision or any rule, regulation, instruction, or direction issued thereunder, shall, to the extent thereof, be a full acquittance and discharge for all purposes of the obligation of the person making the same, and no person shall be held liable in any court for or in respect to anything done or omitted in good faith, in connection with the administration of, or in the pursuance of, and in reliance on this subdivision, or any rule, regulation, instruction, or direction issued hereunder. Therefore, you direct them under their assignment as warrant officers or any other employee, individual working for the United States or a federal government, which is all entities of the government of the United States, which is still just a corporation. There's no contract, and if there is a contract, it implies amnesty already. There is a wrongfully contracted that has caused issues and battles of the form. Battle of the Form, UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, being used against me. Or to combat. I am not part of your war. I'm not organized. We'll talk about this here in a minute. Not a corporation, not an individual, not a citizen or resident of the United States, not a citizen or resident of any state, not a member of the federal government. Impossible to contract as any kind of legal fiction, because under 12 USC Code 614, organization certificate, acknowledgement, forwarding to, filing, and approval by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, permit to do business. You have to have a permit to do business, trade or business.
Word wizard.
Public office.
This is good shit, man. This is
as a body corporate with a name, seal, corporate succession, and I didn't come from a corporation, so I am not a corporation, and I do not follow the organization of a corporate succession. Contracts, suits, directors, officers, employees, bylaws. I am therefore not suable, nor can be sued in those courts. Period.
Right. Wizard, I have a quick little thing here. When it comes to contracts and who you are and status, right? I've seen it sometimes argued that because you have the big topic we've heard a lot is the driver license, right? That if you have a driver license for a regular, whatever you call it, non-commercial, they call it use, although it technically is. However, that doesn't bind you to their code. It only binds you to the fact that you would have to answer to any kinds of inquiries they have about you, right?
Right. The
involving
would have to answer to the legal fiction being presented as a presumption, and by doing so, you rebut it with supplemental facts with a variance for categorical pretreatment standards with a fundamental difference in nature.
Yes,
you understand the nature and cause of the claim? No, I do not.
So let's dwell on this for a second, expound, Wizard, because this is the part that I noticed. It gets past people, and then when you continue on, they think that they're lost, And this is something that we need to understand, whenever you go in there and you're trying to make your status correction, right? A lot of these things, don't come very quickly, and you go through a progress of doing this little by little as you become comfortable and you minimize your risk when you're doing these things. Because let's face it, I mean, people aren't going to just jump in here and do these kinds of things all at once. But I think it's a good practice for more people to start to move in this direction, right? And start to get a groundswell in this direction in general would be a good idea. So a good first step is focusing on what Wizard just spoke about here. I've heard that he said it the best I've heard so far. We're already in a lot of these contracts, whether we realize it or not, but the contracts are very limited.
Right. As a
without supplemental facts, without regularity in charges according to their own rules before they can hold you to any of this. So just because you are involved in any kind of contractual agreement with these agencies doesn't mean that you have to be totally submissive to them. It's extremely limited in what jurisdiction they have over you and involving what matters. Okay. At that, I'll yield because I wanted just to elaborate on that for Wizard, because this is something that if you have any questions, please, slow down ask them to slow down and elaborate, because I know we could go on deeper in this if you don't understand it, and you really need to, because this is the essence of the transformation of moving from being, a contracted resident, citizen, etc., into a free man or woman. At that, I yield.
Yeah, that was well spoken. I have a million questions. I have a million fucking questions, man. This is really new to me. But yeah, I'm open ears, open eyes. So yeah, I love it. Thank you.
Anytime.
Yep.
Just keep your fucking head on you, brother.
Yep.
This ain't no drama quick gang here,
I
This
know.
is all great facts to get to the center of everything and realize it's your fault. It's your time to step up and correct things. That's all I ask everybody. That's all you really need to do.
Thank you, man.
Logos. I don't know what you mean. How do I access this page info? You're already on my YouTube channel, so just like, subscribe, and share it. And you can follow me on YouTube. It's let me pull my information up and give you links here, and you'll see I'm on various different sites, and I even have my own website. So various different ways to communicate with me. I'll give you my email as well.
It's so fucking evil, isn't it? It just
All
seems
of it.
and like when I'm thinking about it, it's like everything is created against us, against the people. It's all created to fucking cause confusion and just enslave us, right? It's fucking crazy. They don't teach this shit in fucking high school government. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't fucking teach this shit.
Oh, yeah, they took
where do you go to learn any of this information? Like what?
I've been studying this for 6 years on the internet. 7.
It's fucking crazy. Ugh.
Okay, there's that. And here's the rest of them. I'm going to see if I can fit them all on. Nope. Nope. And I'm missing my PayPal too. I'll get that up later. Oh, come on. Mitch, what you got to say? What do you think about it?
You're just spitting straight facts, man. There's nothing I could say to rebut it.
It's nice to have all those sources too, isn't it, guys?
Yeah.
It's their words. And that's what I've been telling everybody. You read the codes and you learn how to put their words against them. That's all I've been doing.
Yeah, and it's not even, I don't even like to think of it as the words against them. It's like they're just not doing their duty or their job or honoring their oath. It's that simple. It's like if anyone else comes, if the boss comes and sees the employees stealing and doing bad things in the company and falsifying work orders and stuff, I think the boss would be pretty pissed, right? And the people are the boss of these people, of these servants. So when the people catch them doing stuff like this, we should have the approach like, well, why are you disobeying your own job description? Why are you disobeying your oath? Why are you not performing your duties? How is it that you can sit here in a robe and then execute malfeasance or nonfeasance? Those are the troubling things. It's not so much that the system's bad or the way that things are set up. It's the people doing things. There's individuals that are abusing the system, and I don't believe that even the ones really at the seat of power want to see that kind of abuse going on at the individual level like that. I think they have enough of a racket going on. They don't need to see little onesies and twosies, fudges out there playing around in their little robes and wooden hammers, abusing the people. When all their power structure for all this commerce, all their codes, all their constitution, all the UCC, the USC is all designed so that they can do their little games of commerce, right, with the consent of the people. But once they start harming the people, boy, their whole games of commerce go apart. Look at the rest of the world. Why does everyone want to do commerce in the U.S.? Because the people aren't pissed. Everywhere else in the world, the people are pissed, whether they want to let you know or not. You travel around, you'll see the people love Americans. They love Americans. They hate our military and they hate our politicians, but they love Americans. Not see it.
And they think we're stupid for the most part.
I think it's dishonoring the truth.
I don't think that. I don't think they think we're stupid because they have tyrants running the show too. They look at us as the last bastion of hope in the world because, it's not like we're the lucky ones to be here in America. We're the ones where we're probably the least lucky because if we fuck it up here, there's nowhere else for us to go. The rest of the world, when it screws up in their homeland, they come here.
Mm-hmm.
We got nowhere to go. Whoa, we got to go to Mars with Elon. Give me a break. So if we don't stand up for what we got here, then we got nothing. And the world has nothing.
I think there's a lot of pressure on us. Really, we have an opportunity that a lot of the world doesn't.
We have an opportunity because of what Wizard's talking about. And it's not what Austin's saying. It's about the record. Because you're going to lose when it comes to the other one. That's been tried and tested many times. And that's why they constructed this country so that we don't have to do it through violence. We do it through our courts.
Absolutely.
And those are our courts, by the way. They're not their courts. The problem is that people sat on their ass thinking that they're going to sit here playing target practice and win our country back. In the meantime, the bar's been taking our country right from behind us and not even us noticing it. And as long as people are going to go out there and practice little stick and ball games instead of practicing law, we're going to lose the big game, the long game. We need to start practicing what Wizard's talking about here every day. If we're not learning the USC, that's something I'm very short on knowledge on. He has this immense knowledge of the USC. If you're not up on that, you're screwed. You're screwed because you have no idea what you're getting roped into every single day, every penny you pay. So it behooves us to focus on this. Yeah, it's a little bit of time. I got to salute Austin Murphy for being here. Mitch, for you being here. I know you're working hard now, and I appreciate it. Me too as well. And Wizard, man, I'm glad to see you in good health. And I know your health has only got improved because now you feel that your purpose is really affecting a lot of people. The fact that there's 4 of us here at this hour after everything today goes to be testament to what's going on. I just wanted to get that out, man. But I want to yield if there's any more we want to go on this. But I know this will be a continuing panel now. I'm glad Wizard's established it.
No, I'm just glad you mentioned that. I'm really happy to hear that Wizard's health is improving. We really need him around.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
No, you just need to get off your ass and do this shit yourself.
That's very true.
I keep telling everybody, don't believe me. You're going to have to do your own research and double check and discern for yourself.
You just have the ability to understand these complex, the complexity. They made it very confusing for a reason,
There's nobody else I can go to right now. Like, if I go on fucking whatever, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, there's nobody talking about codes and statutes, and this is what you. There's nobody talking about any of this. There's nobody talking about it.
It's really simple, but they make it so
Every
complicated.
fucking place I see it, so it's like.
And he's able to pick through that and unravel it for us and just give it to us straight.
Yeah, well, yeah, and he obviously has a great understanding of what he's talking about. There's nowhere else I can go to hear any of this shit, man.
Most people just don't comprehend it.
Yeah, just like you said, I have to do it for myself, you know?
Well, if you don't start with the spiritual side, like Wizard was doing, whether you're going to start with the spiritual books that he likes or the spiritual books you like, you have to start with that, because the law is built on the intent to provide for the needs of life, not the other way around. Institutions are there to serve the people, not the people to serve the institutions. As soon as that happens, that's a red flag. If that's happening, now you need to start to break it down. That's where we have to audit them. Where did you screw up, where you stopped serving the people and started making the people serve you? Because now you've gone against the fundamental foundation of what their institutions are meant for, their intentions from the start. And to allow that kind of perversion to happen before our eyes and then to participate in it makes us party to their evil. So it behooves us not only to learn and understand this, but to stand up for the simplest part of it. You don't need to know their code. You just need to know what part doesn't apply to you.
Yeah, unless you're unaware of it, though. Unless you're unaware of what's happening.
As long as you're causing no lawsuit, yeah.
And Aaron,
there's elements.
And Aaron, I don't suggest going after bonds and stuff unless you know absolutely what you're doing. I don't even do that. It's more a matter of correcting the record. And the record, when you correct it, if you do the financial audit and do the directive correctly for that full acquittance and discharge, there's a reversion for any remainder back to the principal. So anything that's still a set off on the books that still needs to be balanced, in other words, an overcharge, you get back. All them taxes, child support, fines, fees, penalties, and stuff like that. You make sure you include that in your directive to make sure you get that back. That's your investment, right? Same with your insurance credits through work. You get insurance credits. That's what you get credits for when you pay that Social Security. You get 4 credits a year. You can make up to so much a year and get 4 credits, for, 1 credit for each quarter. That's what that is. It's insurance credits. Think about that. You have to cover yourself with the insurance, and yet that's what you're begging for is your credit score. That's what your fucking credit score is. You're dumb enough to pay insurance. You fall to the wrong credit. Merits is spiritual credits. Spiritual credits doesn't require insurance. It requires assurance that you will be just fine in the hand of God. It's his purpose, not yours. If it's his purpose, you take it when it comes. You don't try to prevent it by carrying insurance. That ain't going to do nothing but give in a settlement for some kind of heir or something. If you want to give something to your heirs, do it right. Get out of that commercial system. It's all probate. No living will. They're living souls. Why can't you have a living will? So anyway, just a prologue to get things started. That's the general thing we're looking at as far as correction of the record. And Tribe, when you want to come on and do a number of hours on this, breaking it down, I'll get in 5 USC 301 where they have the plain writing, minimum birth registration, and it applies to the Department of Defense, all that kind of stuff, spell of illness, all kinds of stuff. So
well, and I also I have a great gift from a friend of mine. Just brought. I have a full volume of American jurisprudence now to add to my digital collection. So I'll have that plus proof of facts and a lot of other great references that I'll have close at hand. So while you're doing that, if there's any other things I can add in from that, that should be beneficial to us too.
Yep. All right. And with that, we will close out. I appreciate everybody. Hopefully people will hit that PayPal button, share some love that way. But if not, at least keep coming back and learning and make use of the knowledge. You can't, faith is dead without works. So use it. That's what I do. That's why my life is better than it was before. 93 cases in 33 years, and all of a sudden 7 years and nothing. You think I'm doing something wrong, or you think I'm doing something right now? Think about it, and we'll see you next time. God
Thank
bless
you.
you all. I love you.
Thank you, Wizard.
Much love, man.
Thanks, Wizard. And salute.